Welcome everybody. I'm David Carlson, and I'm going to go over some of the highlights of Carlson 2012. And with me here is Gary Rosen, our Regional Sales Manager for New England and Canada. And he's going to help answer any questions that you post on the webinar bar. Okay. So this overview is going to cover all the modules of Carlson 2012. So that's Survey, Civil, Takeoff, and Mining. Overall, there are over 150 improvements or new features in the program for this release. It was released on September 12th, so it's been released for 1 month and a day. And for customers who are on maintenance, you should have all received notice by email by now. If you did not get an email, then either went to spam or we don't have your email. But you can also go to our webpage, carlsonsw.com, and on this support center, there's a link to look up your serial number, for maintenance customers. So you enter your Carlson 2011 serial number, and you get your 2012 serial number. And also under the web page on the support, there's a link for the product downloads, and that's where you can download the program. Okay. So I'm going to go over the highlights in this order for some general things, then Survey, GIS, Civil, Mining, and Takeoff, and then we'll have time for questions at the end. Okay, general. So we made some improvements to reporting through our report formatter, so to help you make more customized and better looking reports. And I'll switch over to the program to show some of this. So the first thing is just a simple one, just under Settings, Drawing Setup. There's a new project name and job number, which are optional. But if you fill them out, then they will appear in your reports. And then, so for an example, I'll run a cut sheet. Points 47 to 51. Okay, and this is the report formatter. One thing that's new here is this field options. So there are some available fields that are built in, and you can add your own. And then for these fields, you can add them to the body of the report, to the report header, or to the report footer. In this case, I've only assigned some to the report header. So I put in company name, address, and so on. And you can edit any of these. And you can tell it what row you want it to be on and the alignment. And you can also control the style. And this is just giving you a sample of what the style will look like. But you can make it bold, change the color, change the font size. Okay. And so I've got 3 rows of data here. And then, so when I hit display, this is what I've set up for my the top of my report, which is an improvement over what you could do before. And it also works with the Excel output. So on just a couple of them, I made them bold, and I made the font size bigger, which you can see here. Okay. Next area of improvement to show is some new 3D symbols. I'll go to the program to show this. You load a different drawing here. So under Settings, Settings Explorer, or sorry, Symbol Library. So we have a few new categories like trees here. So some of them are quite detailed. Others are fairly simplistic. But we got a whole bunch of 3D trees now. And other things like utilities. So we have fire hydrants, lamps, and then cars, including some fun ones like an IndyCar. Okay. So another update besides adding the 3D symbols is for the 3D viewer window now will show 3D blocks basically. So here I have a grid file and some trees, which I'll load up into the 3D viewer window. Okay. So if you have your own 3D blocks, you can add those in too, of course. Okay. And a couple other changes to the 3D viewer window is you can add a texture. So that's one of the grass one styles we have. So well, we have some grass and some sand so far. And another thing is showing some sky. You can add that in. So you get a blue sky with a little bit of wispy clouds. Okay. Another general area of work was on IntelliCAD 7. Currently, we're still in a beta mode for IntelliCAD 7, but it is very close to release, and we expect to have a service patch for Carlson 2012, which will have the released version of IntelliCAD 7. But if you want to try out the beta version that's there, you can go ahead and install that, and you can run IntelliCAD 7 as well as other CAD platforms at the same time with Carlson 2012. But IntelliCAD 7 has been rewritten on top of the Open Design Alliance engine for the 2010 drawing format support, and it has a lot of the features that people were missing in IntelliCAD 6, such as the dock property bar. So anyway, that's getting close to release. Okay, for Carlson Survey, we made a lot of updates to the coordinate systems. We added support for 14 more projection methods. Besides Mercator and Lambert, there's 14 more. And we added hundreds of more predefined projections, which included adding support for all the projections from SURCE and support for Esri PRJ projection definitions. So let me show some of that. So under drawing setup, this is what we've had before. We have the built-in projection zones, but we also have this option for more. So if we don't have it in the list here, you can go to more and then hit the define projection button. And you can say add you can have basically a list of your special ones that you've been using. It will basically keeps a list of recent projections. And then you can add to the list by doing add predefined. And most of the new projections are international, but we also have some in the U.S. for like the Oregon State has some new projections. But also Greece and projections all over. So then if we don't have your projection in the system, you can let us know and we can look to add it. Or you can go add user defined, and you can choose your ellipsoid or put in custom parameters, and you can choose your projection and enter your parameters. And then add from file is where you can select the CSE CSL file or the Esri PRJ file. Okay. Field of finish is also using the new 3D symbols. So I run draw field of finish. Just going to show you the code setup here. One thing you'll notice is the code definition dialog has been rearranged a bit into 3 different tabs to help organize all the different code settings. So there's the general, where you can set your layers. Then under symbol, one thing that's new here is you can have 2 symbols. So one use of this would be to have a typical 2D symbol, and then have the second symbol be your 3D symbol. And also the special code for sizing symbols has some improvements where you can size the XY separately from the Z and other things. So, okay. All right, now on the GIS side, we've added support for Esri map services. So we'll switch over to the GIS module. So there's 3 new commands here. So we can go to the Esri map server. Run that again. Okay. And so Esri has one that they make available to the public, but other organizations can have Esri map servers also that can be public. But and then individual companies could have one that is for their own use. So there are a lot of data here posted by Esri. So they have imagery, like aerial photos, but they also have other things like topo maps and shaded maps and other things here. So so if I choose this one and I pick on it, it gives you a little description of what it is. And I'll just say OK, and then I pick the area that I want to bring it in, and it goes off to the server. Okay, and this is Stowe, Vermont aerial photo, and I'm going to do display order, send to back, and you can see our line work overlapping the aerial image. Okay. Okay, in Carlson Civil, one of the areas that we added a dynamic link was in the storm sewer network design. When you draw a profile from the sewer network, the options dialog has an option to link the profile back to the model. Then if you make changes to the profile, it will update the model. So you could, in the profile view, change pipe size or change an invert, and then that would be updated in the model also when you have that link on. Another area was in the design templates. We have a lot of controls for the dynamics of templates, where there's template point center lines, template transition, template grade table, but all those transition methods, they did not apply to a median element. But in Carlson 2012, we added support for transitioning medians. And what you can do is, since medians can have an arbitrary number of segments to them, you can control how the segments respond to transitions. So some segments could stay fixed, and other segments would do the full adjustment or anywhere in between. So for example, you could have a median element that you're using for a retaining wall, and then you could have a template point profile for the top of the wall, and then have your median basically follow it. Okay. For cross-section volumes, we added the support here for doing breakout quantities by staging. So, for example, in road design, you might have the project broken out where you're doing certain lanes at a time. So you can say you want to do the left side of the road and report those quantities out first, and then the right side. And as you can see, you can have up to 12 different stages for reporting the quantities. Okay. Now, for mining, we added a few features in the bench pit design. One is putting in a haul road as part of the pit design. So as you can see here, the road starts on the left here and goes clockwise as it winds its way down to the bottom of the pit. And we also added batch processing for slope groups. So you can have different slopes for different sides, and you can set up ahead of time which sides you want to have the different slopes, so that you don't have to keep getting prompted for which side to apply to. Let me show that. Okay. Switch to surface mining. So this tag slope groups is the command. It's a new command where you basically tell the program which sides of your perimeter you want to have the different slope groups on. But for now, I'm just going to do design bench pit. And I have a road, say create road, so that's new. Road width and road slope, direction clockwise, set the color. And I'm also using the offset method, which is was new in Carlson 2011. So then these are my benches on the way down. Okay. Whoop. Sorry. I have to pick the right services here. Pick my pit polyline. I'm going to start my road up here. Okay. There's our volumes by bench. And let's look at this in the 3D viewer window. Turn off the sky. So there's our road coming on down through the bench. Okay. Okay, we have a new set of commands for doing haul cycle analysis, for analyzing fleet of trucks and their projection rates. So let's show that. Okay, so first there's the road manager, where the roads are in the drawing as 3D polylines, and you can set speed limits on the roads and other parameters. You can add delay points along the road for crossings or railroad tracks or something that would delay the truck. And you can break out the 3D polyline by ranges of slopes. Okay. Then there's Fleet Manager, where these are the default ones that we have built in. Of course, you can add your own or edit these values, but all the parameters for capacity and performance. And then you can do the haul cycle analysis, where you can say, okay, let's start from here, and we'll go all the way to the right over here. And the program, in this case, the program actually treats them as like a network of possible ways you can go when you have more than one polyline. So it shows you all the different combinations of routes that you could take. And you can choose one, and then you can get reports based on, you want to calculate the fleet size given a certain production rate. And then choose your truck. And then so we need 4 trucks for that production rate, these parameters. Or you can say, I have 4 trucks, what's my production going to be? And there you get the tons per hour, as well as other values. Okay. And now we also have a new set of commands for timing of spoil placement. We've long had timing for extracting the ore, but we haven't really had command for dealing with placing the spoil. So spoil timing. So in this example, we have our pits over here on the right. We have 5 pits, and then kind of a hollow fill here for the spoil. And there's a whole new pull down for spoil with a set of commands similar to pits, where you take closed polylines and you assign them names, spoil names, and then you can assign direction for how they're going to be filled in, and you can assign the volumes for the spoil areas. And then the spoil sources that's coming out of the pit, there's tools for that too. So like in surface mine reserves, there's a new output spoil file. That's new. That's what the spoil timing will use to get the quantities that are coming in. So then there's spoil timing. You set up your haul fleets, your sources, and your destinations, and then this is the timing dialog where you say, here's my source, here's the fleet I'm going to use, and here's my destination. And you get a little like Gantt chart here of the progress of filling in the spoil. Okay. Okay, for takeoff, we have a new set of commands for basically bringing raster images into the CAD, or raster to vector conversion. So this applies if you get a data set that's an image, which can happen often with PDF files. PDF files can just be a container for raster image, which is not all that useful in the CAD unless you want to on-screen digitize or something. So we have some tools now to help with that. Switch to the Takeoff module. So there's a new pull-down menu called Raster, where we have some tools for tracing, snapping to raster pixels as you're creating CAD entities, and also cleaning up the raster image. So cut and crop and remove speckles and thicken. And so let's zoom in here. So, for example, this drawing has a lot of speckles. That's the kind of thing we can remove. But I'm just going to show trace polyline, say contour, and then click here. And it draws a cyan over what it's done so far, and it will stop where it gets to a crossing. It's not sure which way to go, so you can just continue by picking, and off you go. And I can over here. So, and then when you're done, you can press enter. Okay, that's all for the feature highlights. I also wanted to mention that we have new training materials available. There are 48 new training movies on Carlson 2012. So from our webpage, there's an icon there for movies. I also put just the web address there. So just on the list here, there's Carlson 2012, and then movies by subject there. Also, on our website, we have posted 3 years' worth of training materials from our user conference, which includes the handouts from the conference and the data sets, so you can run through yourself. And that's also posted on our webpage, and I put the link up here also. Okay, that's all I had. Thanks for listening. Gary might have some questions for me now.
Yeah, we got some stuff. The first thing I wanted to mention is David mentioned at the beginning about if you're on maintenance or if you own 2011, you're on maintenance, you probably should have gotten an email, and if you didn't, the link on the website. For any of you that are not currently on maintenance, so you're back a couple versions or whatever, and you want to get current, you would basically do that by getting back on maintenance. And the price of that's going to depend on what software you own and how far back you are. So the best thing to do is contact either your dealer, your Carlson reseller that you've been working with, tell them that you're interested, and they will work with us to get you the price, because it's going to vary based, again, on what you own and how old it is. You could also contact your Carlson sales rep if you work with them directly in your region, and you can also just contact Carlson's head office, and they'll also direct you to your local sales rep. So there's lots of ways to get in touch with us if you want to get a price to get current from however far back you may be. So I wanted to mention that. And yeah, we've got some good questions, Dave. The first one I've been trying to answer while you were working there, and I can't figure out, is the question is, on the IntelliCAD platform, can you bring in a PDF just as a background, just as an image? And I was not able to find a command for that, and maybe you know, and if not, we can research it and get back to get back to folks?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, Carlson has our own PDF import commands that are in Takeoff.
That are in Takeoff only, right. So that was another question was, let me see here. Okay. So yeah, so the PDF importing to vector is only in Construction and Takeoff.
Right.
Right? And the raster to vector that you showed.
That's only in Takeoff.
That's only in Takeoff, not Construction.
Right.
Okay. And there's a question, any possibility that raster to vector would ever be added to the Civil package?
Maybe.
Maybe, okay. The raster tools are only in Takeoff. Are they also part of Survey Civil? No, they're not currently. When do you expect IntelliCAD 7 to be fully released? I think you had said it's in progress.
Yeah, that we're not 100% sure, but it's looking pretty good. I think, by the end of the year or very early next year.
Okay. So again, the bringing of a PDF into IntelliCAD just as an image, essentially as a background, we're going to have to work on that one. Bill asked that question, and Bill, if you could send me your email. Mine is grosen, Grosen, @carlsonsw.com. And if you could just email me that, I'll do some more research and get back to you. And that's for anyone else, by the way, that has questions that that we can help with. Okay. Map services. The new map services is only in GIS.
Correct.
Correct. Okay. Okay. Survey. Okay. This was a question, and I was asking for a little more detail, and I need to see if Michael gave me more detail. But the question was, any plans to add features to sewer networks to allow easier modeling of utilities for contractors? Currently, it seems much more tailored to engineering and calculations. So it appears Michael's looking for just a simpler way to just add any utility, maybe. Model any other utilities?
Well, there are some improvements in 2012 where you can put the sewer network into utility mode, and then it it takes away stormwater specific prompting, and it has some easier labeling and such. But also just for contractors, the Takeoff has a section of commands for trench networks. So if you're looking to do trench volume calculations and such, that's part of Takeoff.
Okay. And I'll look and see if you gave any more details to the question. But if not, follow up with some emails, Michael, if you would, and give us a little bit more info about what you'd be looking for specifically would be helpful. Okay, I saw profiles can be tied to storm drains now in 2012.
Right.
So you can work on the profile and update the model of the storm network. Will it only be storm drains, or could it be tied to different entities? Again, I'm not exactly sure. The only thing I can think of is like a road design. I mean, if you could edit a road profile and have it update the road network, which is not happening, but maybe could be considered.
Yeah, unless there are other entities that reference their elevation from the profile. Yeah.
Okay. Again, maybe if you get a chance, that's Michael. I'm not sure if it's the same Michael, but follow up with some more detail would be good. Okay, sewer network. This is Michael Lambert. Yeah, this is a long one. I think we need to follow up on this one, Michael, about the Word document. Yeah, it might be. I think you need to follow up on that if you would. That one's I think a little too big and specific for everyone right now. But please follow up with us. Will IntelliCAD have a toolbar like layer 2, like layer 2 in AutoCAD? Oh, okay. So the layer 2 toolbar in AutoCAD. Trying to remember what's there. Is that the pick, freeze, and thaw and stuff?
Well, we'll probably have to check on that.
Okay, I think that's what the layer 2 is. The layer 2 toolbar is. That's Mark's question. Again, I guess Mark, I'm going to ask you as well to follow up with an email. I'll give that out again at the end. Where's the user group this year? I think the latest word is.
Well, that we're going to wait to 2013.
We're going to wait to 2013 for our next user group meeting is the decision that's just been made. Does sewer line program have capability to show energy grade line as well as hydraulic grade line?
Yes.
Okay, good. Any advancements on modeling water lines? Modeling water lines, like just
or geology, or
Zane, if you could follow that up. There we go. Civil applications, water lines, like just a water line, like a pressured water line.
We have not got into pressure water distribution.
Yeah. Will IntelliCAD be set up as the ribbon, such as the newest version of AutoCAD? I guess it's a question of ribbons in IntelliCAD.
IntelliCAD 7.1 does not have ribbons, but it is something that's on the wish list.
Okay. Okay, so I got, I'm going to check this from one of our guys who says type image to import a number of image formats into IntelliCAD, which I actually did, but when you attach, I did not see PDF listed as an optional image file, at least in the list that's here. It does not list PDF, so I'm not sure if that's going to work. I can test that, but thanks for the suggestion, Mike, and we'll give that a try, and we'll try and follow up. Is there an option with IntelliCAD 7 to copy layouts or bring in another layout templates like you can do with AutoCAD? Copy layouts, where you right-click on the layout and copy it.
I'm not sure.
Don't know. I can try real quick. Well, if I right-click on a layout tab, there is a copy option on IntelliCAD. I can tell you that. So it appears the answer to that's yes. Civil ribbons on the wish list, yes.
Yeah.
Civil ribbons are on the wish list. Suggestion is to convert the PDF to a JPEG. Okay, well that's an interesting suggestion. I don't know what software you do. What do you use to do that with? Just a image?
Screen capture it.
Screen capture it or something. So that's an interesting suggestion. Thank you. And again, I'll research that one a little bit more to see if you can directly bring those in. Keep going. Dave, I've sent. Oh. The layer 2 ICAD point entity question in before. Mark, just send it again, if you would, to me, G. Rosen at Carlson SW. I'll forward it to Dave, and we'll see if we can get you an answer on that one, okay? Use PDF Professional will let you save as other formats. So PDF Professional, I don't know if that's a free program or one you buy. I'm not familiar with it. A full version of Adobe will allow you. Sure, PDF to JPEG works great. So there's a good suggestion. Full version of Adobe's a little expensive, but But anyway, that's okay. Maybe you might have it. But there's a suggestion. And you know, probably Google PDF to JPEG and see if you can find something else out there. That's pretty much the questions we've gotten here so far. There's a yikes. Well, I got Brian. Thank you, Brian, for the. Brian sent a link of a web address for images, I guess, but it's an awfully long one to try and read out. So, Brian, thanks. Let's do it this way. Anyone who's interested in the PDF, I guess, Brian, I guess you're saying that's a converter. www.advsurveying.com, tips, and then it's in there. Image %20 from %PDF image. So look at www.advsurveying.com tips and look in there without giving the whole rest of the thing. And if you can't find it, email me and I'll send you that link that Brian sent. Or email Brian, better yet, because he's a very cool guy and he'll help you for sure. But I will too. B. Morse at ADV Survey. There we go. B. Morse is Brian's email, and he will help you. Oh, ADV Surveying, I see. So that's actually his website. So evidently Brian has written his own converter. But get in touch with him. He'll help you with that. Thank you. That's all our questions right now, Dave. So thanks for taking us through some of the cool new stuff. Any follow-up questions, get in touch with your dealer, your reseller, get in touch with your local sales, regional sales director, get in touch with us directly, tech support, just call in at 606-564-5028, excuse me, is the main number, 800-989-5028. Lots of ways to get in touch with us with any other questions you have. Again, I'm G. Rosen. You can write to me and I'll forward to the right person. And Brian says that link is a movie that shows how to use Adobe Reader to extract an image. Okay, so thank you, Brian. We do appreciate the help. You know, there's lots of folks around. In addition to all those sources, you've got your training facilities listed under training on the website. And they're all experts. They do our training. Carlson College folks, get in touch with them. They can help as well. And of course, you've got tech support through Carlson, unlimited free tech support as well. So lots of resources. Thanks, guys. You're welcome. And thank you for joining. I hope it was helpful. Get up to 2012, get current, some great stuff going on, and if you need help with that, just let us know. I think that's it. Thanks, Dave.